Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Laura and here I talk about mental health, minimalism, lifestyle, going out with my dog, you know, all that fun stuff because I just live such an exciting life. Firstly, I thrifted this. How cute is this? I am planning to try sound smart enough that people do think I went to Harvard, even though I most certainly did not. But speaking of thrifting, today I wanted to talk about minimalism and not so much the structured videos that I've done in the past, even though it seems like you guys really like those and I do like doing them. Today I wanted to just have a little bit more of like a chitty chat about minimalism because this is something that I have a lot of random thoughts about like throughout my life, and I feel like I wanted to kind of share those with you guys without it needing to be in like a very structured topic-y kind of way. So we're just going to do a little minimalism chat. I will let you know now. I want to talk a bit about life clutter, like in terms of all of the things that we have on our plates and how we kind of deal and manage with those. I also want to talk a little bit about minimalism in food and like how I feel like that links in with like seasonality of food, eating different things kind of generally, and then just a little bit about like my experience of my house after having been in other people's spaces and now coming back into our space and kind of how I generally feel about that. So let's get into it. So this idea of like things on your plate, which is kind of how I describe it. In the book Minimalism, Live a Meaningful Life by the Minimalists, which I also thrifted recently. I actually hadn't read it. I'd watched the movie on Netflix and I had consumed some of their other media, podcasts, etc. I hadn't read the book. But I read the book and they talk about anchors. And this is something that I'd actually already kind of mapped out for my life probably about 2 years ago. And then I reviewed it again like a year ago. The idea behind these anchors, behind the things on your plate, is that you list out every single thing in your life that you feel like you need to be giving time, money, attention, space to. I think the minimalists, when they first did it, each had like a couple of hundred things. And I can see how you would get there because for me, like if I just look around right now and I see things, generally there's the dog. I need to make sure that I'm around to walk the dog. I can't really leave the dog alone for more than like 8 hours. I need to feed the dog. I need to pay for insurance, vet, food, flea and worm treatments for the dog, as well as like collars, leash, toys. Those are also things I then need to have in my house, right? There's a lot of kind of anchors associated with the dog. Doesn't mean I'm not happy for them to be there, but it's good for me to be conscious of them. Our house generally, we want to finish renovating, so I've got all of the renovations there. I have my student loan debt. I have a mortgage. I have different bills to pay. I have my job that I need to go to. I own a car, so I then have petrol, insurance, service, warranty, fitness, and anything else associated with the car, as well as if I choose to drive it somewhere, I then need to know what I'm doing with it, all of that. Basically, you kind of add up all of these things that you feel have some kind of drain and pull on your life. And personally, I think it's a really good exercise. Even if you choose to change nothing, I think it can just be really important to be aware, again, from a mental health standpoint, and this is why I feel like minimalism leans into mental health so well. If you are feeling drained and stressed and like you have a lot going on, but you don't know what it is, it can feel quite confusing and you can get into this feeling of like, what am I doing? Why am I feeling this way? Oh. Listing out all these things can actually be quite grounding in a way. I mean, for some people, it would probably be overwhelming, and don't get me wrong, that could be like the experience for you. But for me, it was very much a case of, oh, okay, that's why I feel like I've got a lot going on. Because I do. Like, okay, that kind of realism for me was actually really helpful. Again, there were also different areas that I looked at where I went, I really wish I could just kind of cross this off and be like, I don't want to be dealing with this. I think a few of those that I did actually list out and then cross off were, I'd see that I was looking after my plants and also my plant cuttings. And I knew that I was going to kind of keep doing plant cuttings if I didn't stop it. and it just felt like an additional drain, and I would then literally like need to get a little pot for it and then like give it to someone, and that just felt like another little job. And that's not to say it's not nice, but no one was asking me for these. No one was like, oh my gosh, hey Laura, are you planning on doing a cutting of this plant? Could I have some? No, I was making work for myself and doing it, and I was like, you know what, no more plant cuttings. So I finished up with those ones, got them in a little pot, gave them to someone, haven't done any since, because I know that that's then just another thing for me to look after, for me to worry about, all of that. I feel like sometimes us perfectionists can get into this mindset of feeling like the more I have going on, the more that I'm doing, the more that I can show that I am taking care of, taking part in all of this, the better I'm going to look, or the better my life is going to be, right? And that's where the minimalism comes in, is that it's not a case of the more things in your life, the better your life is. Either in physical things or in stuff that's going on in your life. And so I just feel like this is such a cool exercise for us to do as minimalists, or even just as people wanting to look out for our mental health. And you may look at this list and go, oh, well, I have to do that. Like, let's say you're in a city like us where the public transport is not great. You say, oh, well, I have to have a car because I can't get around. Like, that's fine. But know that you are still consciously choosing that. Everything that's on your plate, like someone might have handed something to you and gone, hey, put this on your plate, right? They might have gone, put this on your plate. But you still chose to take that and put it on your plate. And you can choose to grab it and take it off. And I'm not saying that you have to take anything off. I'm not even saying that things that stress you out, like maybe having a car, you need to take off, because it may still, based on your personal choice, it may still be the right thing. But I think it's important and empowering for us to know, A, what all those things are that are on our plate, and B, that we chose to put those on our plate, and C, that if we want to, we can choose to take those off our plate. May not be an immediate thing, right? But there is a process there. And so I would encourage you, if you haven't already, kind of made a list of all of the anchors. Firstly, do a quick Google of like minimalist anchors. I assume would kind of come up with some information on this, and then maybe do this as an exercise, because I think that we can be really good at decluttering our homes sometimes, but decluttering our like lives and lifestyle is just as important, if not more so. So look into that. I think that it's really cool. I want to share that with you guys. So there you go. The second kind of little thing I wanted to talk about was about food and seasonality. I feel like as minimalists, we really want to use what we have, use it well, all of that. And for me, I kind of find that extending to the food around me. Like right now in summer, I do not feel like making foods that are kind of the basics of like onion and garlic, stuff I can get all year round, carrots, potatoes, frozen peas, whatever, and like tinned things to make a curry with rice that is shelf stable. I don't feel like doing that because it is summer and there are so many fruits and vegetables that are in abundance right now. So I really want to use those. I feel like I am wasting it if I have all of this beautiful produce that is in the supermarkets available for me to buy and I'm choosing not to buy it. So at the moment, now that it's summer, we are eating a lot of like vegan-y protein, and well, we literally got new potatoes out of the garden yesterday. I might show you guys a photo of that here. This was the great potato harvest of 2024, which was eminently better than the great potato harvest of 2023, but I'm still really bad at growing potatoes. So that's gonna do like one meal. Anyway, it is what it is. But like new potatoes and then salad with tomatoes from our garden and cucumber and capsicum, red onion with some olive oil and balsamic. But that's what I feel like eating because that is so available and good and plentiful at the moment. And I love that. So I feel like there's kind of a minimalist aspect of wanting to use what's there, like technically it's in the supermarkets, but use what's there in my garden and in the supermarkets right now because I can. which is great. However, when it comes to winter, I think that's almost like the frugality where I'm like, hey, we don't have all of this other stuff. Now let me be a little bit more clever and look at more of the shelf-stable stuff, more of the vegetables and fruits that keep longer, and use that instead. And so in winter, even if I really feel like having salad, what I will end up doing is mostly using kale as my salad greens because I can grow that in my garden in winter. And then I do little pieces of apple and cranberries and like seeds, and then again that like balsamic and olive oil dressing with salt and pepper, of course, because I lived in Italy for 3 months. You must season your salad. My Italians out there will know. So I will do that instead. And again, I feel like I'm like, great, I see what is around me, I see what's available, and I'm using that to give me the best that I can in my life right now. And I mean, technically there'd be like hydroponic stuff available, possibly. We don't even get all year round on a lot of those fruits and veggies. But I could try do hydroponics, and I could try get that stuff. Firstly, it's not going to be as good. It's not going to be as nutritious as well. But also, like, I feel like in them not just using what's naturally around me. And I feel like that is kind of a core tenet of that minimalism thing. And we think of stuff in our home as being pretty constant. You've got the same stuff all the time. But I like this idea of seasons, you know? So that was just a little thought that I was having around how minimalism kind of links into that seasonality of food. I say that as well because in New Zealand, I feel like we're not very good at the whole like seasonal food thing. Firstly, no matter what part of the country you're in, you will find basically the same thing in all the supermarkets, which after traveling in Europe, I found super weird because it varied so much between regions, and I just love that so much. I don't like this very homogenous experience of every supermarket has exactly the same thing and 90% of it is the same all year round. I don't like that. I like the change and the surprise and having to work with different things and create different experiences depending on where we are in the seasons. And I just think it's nice. So anyway, random thoughts on food and minimalism. I don't know, let me know if you agree or disagree with any of this stuff, or if you have any comments. I really appreciate it. And yeah, the last thing I've kind of been thinking about is that I need to stop apologizing when I come on here and say, I'm not the most minimal, but this is what I think, because the most minimal, it doesn't exist. It's not an arbitrary scale. I can't point and say I'm not the most minimal. And also, I just really need to stop saying it because we have been in a few different people's spaces over the last like month or so when we were away at Christmas, and then we were away for a few other things, and we weren't really getting to choose what was going on in those situations. But every time I came home, I walked in the front door, and before I'd left, I'd been like, oh, this is annoying me, that's annoying me, oh, I should sort this, da da da, whatever. And then we pack up all our stuff, and there's kind of stuff left, and it's whatever. Go where we're going to, come home. And it was like a breath of fresh air. Oh my goodness. Like I felt, stepping into our house, stepping into our space, I felt so much more calm. Oh my goodness. It was awesome. It was awesome. And that was when I was like, okay, you need to stop apologizing for not being so minimal, because that's the experience that we're all after, isn't it? Is that when we go somewhere else, we don't really get to control the space, do whatever, and we come home and go, this is really good. This is calming. I can put my stuff away. I know where everything needs to go. There is room for me to exist and to just enjoy myself in this space and feel calm and at peace. Yes, so happy with that. So I just wanted to share that with you guys, and I'm gonna try to stop apologizing on here for not being the most minimal, because I know that in that aspect, whether you agree or disagree with the amount of stuff I have in my house, it actually doesn't matter, because for me and for my husband, and I'm gonna say for my dog, even though I don't really know what he thinks on the topic, it is really perfect for us. So yeah, I hope that this has been interesting for you guys. Let me know if you'd like to see more of these kind of videos of me just kind of freewheeling it, talking about some topics that have been in my head recently when it comes to minimalism or anything else. And I hope you're having an awesome day. Please subscribe or watch another video, wherever they are. I'm not quite sure. And I will see you guys again soon. Bye.